You are listening to a podcast of the Geek.io Media Network. For all of our shows and more, visit geek-io.net. And to help support the network, head over to patreon.com/geek.io.
Hello, gentle listener. While Geek.io holds its talent to the highest standards, what follows will likely involve the sort of language usually reserved for sailors on leave. If you're of a delicate disposition, then perhaps you would consider a different podcast.
Friends, to Exploding Dice. The Chronicles of Athalor, Chapter 3. I am, as always, your magnanimous killer of players, weaver of stories, CJ Bowden. Joining me, as you know him, over there in that corner right there, is Delbert Sand. Hello, Delbert.
Greetings. How's everybody doing?
We have Rachel who will be joining us here in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to introduce you to the new people.
The new blood.
Yeah.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat. The freshest of meats, we have Scott over here.
Hello everyone, Scott Galloway.
And the meanest person in podcasting.
Don't even!
Kyra.
That's not cool. I promise I'm nice.
She's the meanest person in podcasting.
Yay.
So, of all things, welcome to the new season of Exploding Dice, but thank you guys for coming here. This is actually the first recording that we've done since I have moved, and I have missed recording so much, and to that, we're classy as foretold. Thank you guys to this and many more. Kampai, motherfuckers.
Kampai.
Oh, ooh, that's good.
That is really good.
That's really good.
Oh. Yeah. I might need to buy some of that.
Lucky's is where we got that one from. Not sponsored. Please sponsor. So, oh man, not only has it been forever since we've recorded, well, literally since we've recorded here, but also it's been forever and a day since we've done anything with the Athalor campaign, since we've done 1.5, 2 years of Xanthuru, and 9 months of Ravnica. So, hey, welcome back to my world. I'm here to kill you all. But you guys probably don't remember what happened, because I'm sure everybody here has listened to all 200 and something hours of the stuff so far, right? We're good? Alright, moving on.
Oh, you're
Another drink.
Oh, God. Here. Oh, I'm so glad I just put this wine chaser down with rum. As Kyra looks into my cup.
He's like, wait, what? Are you holding out on us?
No, I think all of our rum is gone. I think I drank all of the rum.
Why is the rum gone?
So, a little bit of a recap here of the last 2 seasons. The first, and by the way, before we get into this, a little bit of house cleaning here. So, the last 2 campaigns have been in my world, but very tightly based on Wizards of the Coast sets. That is no longer the case. The world has been redesigned entirely. Wizards of the Coast, most of their towns are removed, but the ones that have been part of the story are in the world now because they have to be, but you are not in the Forgotten Realms anymore. You are on Athalor. And players at the Discord, geek-io.net/Discord, ran a campaign of super prequel years of this campaign, of this world. Their stuff will come into play, but not super. That was more fun than anything else. But in Season 1, henceforth known as the Failure, the group were trying to stop the elemental evils from coming into the mortal realms. The reason why it is called the failure, well, Emix, the Fire Lord, had kidnapped Rachel's character during that campaign. It was going to come through, using her as a portal and coming through. Raoul's character at the time took that burden upon himself, but in a crucial rolled a nat 1. He exploded and recollected as the Fire Lord Emix. There was no portal, there was simply a weird planar collapse kind of thing. And then, And then Dell's character, rest his soul, literally stepped on the Fire Lord's cake as an act of defiance. Needless to say, it didn't end well for him. 5 years later, I glossed over season 1 because it was kind of a cluster. It was super, like, a little bit behind the curtain here. It was way early in us podcasting. And, like, super new to doing D&D podcasting. Like, I had never listened to Critical Role or Critical Hit or any of those things. So, I'm like, I'm going to play D&D with my friends. And I'm going to run this campaign, Princess of the Apocalypse, because Wizard sent it to me. And I'm like, I'm going to put it in my own world. Cool. And it was kind of a cluster. And most of it was retconned in Season 2 anyway. So, the major things that stuck were Raoul's character exploded, recompiled as the Fire Lord Emix, and Dale's character went down in a literal blaze of glory. 5 years later, the second season, where the deadly sins were introduced. Emix had taken over. Him and his Red Army had really no opposition. Like, anything that tried to stand up as to them were taken down mercilessly. Because they didn't care about chivalry or anything like that. Since then, and that was done pretty early in Emix's, Emix had captured multiple Elder Brains. Elder Brains, for those who don't know, are those things that control mind flayers. He captured multiple of those. And literally started infecting people with demons. Creating a outburst of tieflings. And most of the tieflings were loyal to him. Not all. Natural born tieflings were their own people, but ones that he created were all loyal to him. And most of the tieflings that are natural born are a various bouquet of colors. They range the rainbow gambit from red to blue to white, all over the place. Very dark scarlet red ones are Emix's. And he did this very methodically. Everything was just kind of, we didn't have a chance, because even then the world was pretty tame, pretty peaceful. Really, when the elemental planes started collapsing upon Athalor, it was the first time in several hundred years that there was a conflict. So there were not a lot of armies to stand up to them. So my notes! My notes! Because this is not all ad-lib, because I promised I wouldn't ad-lib everything.
Just most things.
Yeah, most things, because players be players, yo. Where? So, yeah, where is... What? Why did I put that there? Weird. Hey, there we go. Cool. Sorry. So the continent of Calisvane was pretty much just overran. Almost entirely. With pretty much the simple state of bend the knee, you live. Most people want to live, so they bent the knee. And for 5 years, well, about 4 years, peace. It was under brutal dictatorship of a god king, almost literally, but peace. No wars, no tribal conflicts, because anytime that somebody would start to rise up with anything, it would be very quickly squashed. There would be semblances of organized rebellion. One organization known as the Harpers, a splintered group of segmented leadership. That's the reason why when a Harper's guild would be raided and destroyed, they could continue operating. The second season started in a town called Red Larch, and it had been recently ransacked by goblin hordes, because beasts be beasts. Civilized people are peaceful. Beast kind are still, well...
Beastly.
So you still have your goblins, your orcs, your hill giants, still being pains in the asses and generally nuisances. But the game started in a town called Red Larch, and a charming person, a debonair person who was in no way, shape, or form at all named by Zolgeth, came up and assisted in rebuilding and defending Red Larch. Zolgeth turned out to be not at all what he said he was, and nobody rolled high enough inside at the time to call him out on his shit. So the group found out that Zolgeth was not as he seemed and fought him off. And as he left a mark on Perururun, who Rachel's character is, his hand, called a sin mark. The sin marked people, as a general rule, are outcasts. Or if they're not immediately adopted by the sin that marked them, most people in society don't want them near because the sins can pretty easily attach themselves back to their sin marked. Perururun was sin marked by the sin of lust. Zolgeth. He turned tail and ran. It's funny because he was a Tabaxi.
Got him.
Second season is when Tabaxi first came out, so there's a lot of Tabaxi in there.
But everybody needs some cat girls.
Exactly, because cat girls are the best. And Rachel's character actually came out of me seeing Tabaxi, and at the same time, the Unearthed Arcana for Samurai came out. So I looked at Rachel, and I'm like, I will give you whatever you want if you will be a samurai pizza cat in my game. So she went and did her own research and found out that the Japanese name for the girl of samurai pizza cats was Perururun, and stuck with that as her name.
That's awesome.
So that is the behind the scenes story of how Rachel's Perururun came. She just kind of ran with it and made it her own, which was fantastic. Her pretty kitty problems are just the best. But the group then went to the Harper's Guild in Baldur's Gate to try and find out if they can assist in any way with what's going on. Emix wasn't happy with the insurrection happening in Red Larch, and you all know this because this is the day that the skies were bled completely red, and the pillar of flame erupted. The town of Red Larch completely decimated off the map. Utterly. Nobody can, to this day, and it's been a few months since that happened, almost 6 months since that happened, nobody can really go near there now. The heat is still too intense. And even to this day, the skies are dyed red to a point. High noon skies are like a light purple. Nighttime skies are very royal dark purple. And because of this, the group decided to get involved totally in their own ways to be heroes of the Harper's Guild. And I make that quote entirely heroes being very lofty because there was definitely an episode where they tortured a guy
Oh no.
brutally.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Brutally tortured a guy. And I'm like, alright, heroes, you guys, good job. We're awesome. They wanted to torture a kid, and that's where I put the line down. That was Felix's idea. I'm like, no, we are not torturing a child. That is where I draw the line. So they organized a prison break to get some of the Harper's agents out, and accidentally a new warden of the prison there in Baldur's Gate. They killed the old warden and convinced a poor half-orc guy to take on his clothes in a prison who is primarily filled with half-orcs not known for their intelligence. So they just see a guy in the warden's uniform and, hey, he's the warden now. So, Amon, Raoul's character, basically was trying to figure out how he was one of the few natural-born tieflings still around. He was trying to figure out a way to infiltrate the Red Army. It went so well. To a point where they had to evacuate Baldur's Gate and head into Waterdeep. Where they met Morag, the Drugar innkeeper, and she was brilliant! She hated every single one of them! Except for Kyle's character at the time. No, Rowan. It was Rowan, Felix's character, the fishman, who Perururun constantly wanted to eat. By the way, I'm so glad there is a bird in this campaign because apparently the ongoing trope is Rachel wants to eat a PC at all times. We'll get to that in a minute. So, Rowan...
You had a plan for suggesting Kenku. God.
So,
I knew it.
Rowan and Morag went down and met a half-human, half-automaton by the name of James Barrow. Which, I didn't plan this, because this was a name, again, this was based a lot out of Storm King's Thunder. This was an NPC. I didn't remember this because I put a lot of things out of my name. That's my father's name, and it freaked me out when I remembered my father's name was James Barrow. So, by the way, I say human, and it's a big deal that this guy was a human. Humans have pretty much bred themselves out of existence. Because humans be humans.
Yeah.
If there's something they can stick their dick into, they're going to stick their dick into it. So,
Classic box.
and, well, let's face it, a lot of races are prettier than humans. So, elves, ooh, pretty. Humans, being dragons, ooh, pretty. Orcs, snoo snoo. So while there are very, very, very few humans, so that is why when you see one around, they are typically being protected by people who are anti-Emix, because Emix is very anti... Well, he likes shoving things into humans' mouths and turning them into tieflings.
That's some imagery right
You
there.
can take
Yeah.
that however you wish.
Oh, no.
So that is where they officially joined this sect of the Harpers. And they were introduced to Korth and Kavalov, the Diafragno. And they were trying to get a group of people who were being hunted by the Mind Flayers out of Waterdeep. through a series of underground tunnels. And here is where we find our first casualty of Campaign 2.
Sounded like that was coming.
So, the group's still unaware of the dangers around them, of the grander scale. Go through this dungeon, or this cavern, and they're fighting off giants, things like that, and everything is fine until this gigantic ooze creature starts attacking them.
Ah, yes, Putney.
Yes. Simply called Puddin'.
Puddin' was a bitch.
All he could say was, Puddin'. Puddin' ate Kavalov.
Oh.
And by 8, I mean 8
No.
Kavalov. Assuming his form. The group exploded that shut on one side, not the other, but we don't talk about that. The sin of gluttony has not been seen by you guys since. He's totally destroyed. Absolutely not an issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
None. He'll never show up. Just like Zolgath, never going to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
Never go. Don't even worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything you guys need to worry about.
Nice farming simulator.
You guys also were introduced to a lizard folk by the name of Sodero. Sodero was kind of one of the higher ranking members of this Harper's Guild. And he got you guys out of town, he got them out of town, and it was fine. It was fine. They made their way to the Golden Fields where there was a massive beast folk outbreak focused around this one tree. And oh yeah, the guy's name was Purtle, the new warden of the Waterdeep prison.
Was that our orc friend that we...
Yes.
Oh my god. I convinced was the freaking warden because...
Yep.
Bruin was like, so, friend, that dude was the
By the way,
warden,
there's
right?
yours. Try your one.
Thank you.
It's delicious.
By the way, I'll tell you about what Dr. Lipton said about wine with that whole situation.
That's fine with breastfeeding, and you don't even have much there, so...
Yeah, if it's under 8 ounces,
Yeah.
you don't care.
Yeah.
So go for it. Don't drink the bottle.
So you guys met a woman named Xylong, an elven woman outside of the Golden Fields. Well, not you guys. Her guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Rachel.
Rachel is the only remaining from the original
Yeah.
7 Deadly Sins campaign.
Not 7 Deadly Sins, just Deadly
Sorry,
Sins.
7 Sins campaign.
Deadly Sins campaign.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that is important.
7 Deadly Sins, totally not copyrighted. No.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm like, don't call it that, please.
Well, legitimately, there are 7 Deadly Sins.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's also copyrighted material. And also, just definitely Deadly Sins. Trust me on that one. It's not important at all.
Trust nothing he says.
Break out the
Oh, no,
highlighters.
see, there is a new sin.
Baby.
Sleep deprivation.
Yes.
Yeah. You are the 8th deadly sin. You realize this, right? Okay.
So, you guys got through the Golden Fields and, for the most part, made them evacuate around this tree, which found out that it was a living tree. Her name is Liferous.
Bitch. There's a reason.
There's a reason. As you guys go to try and remove the curse and try and find out what's going on with Liferous, a almost 8 foot tall lion person jumps out of nowhere and proceeds to hand their asses to them.
And magically, Perururun's tail is stick straight. She's swooning. You think that the ass up floating through the air, love trope that's in all the cards? Yes, that is Perururun when she sees this.
And he is a very beefy cat.
He is one.
His muscles have muscles.
Sexy beast.
8 to 12 pack.
He might even give Robert Irvine a run for his money.
Let's say his muscles are about the size of a gnome.
He's got a no money charm, and I'm okay with this.
He just simply called himself Pride, and he handed the shit out of the group. Focusing, and then Sotero begins focusing very hard on Pride. Pride blocking his arrows and forcing Sotero to reveal his true form, which is a green dragon, with the sin of envy. Or no, greed. Sorry, we got these mixed up too on the game. I can't believe I'm looking at the fucking notes right here. The sin of greed.
Don't go. You be a good boy.
Who was absolutely playing everybody. Pride shows his true colors by defending the group in Lifeless and chokeslammed a dragon.
Versus dragon.
causing him to run off to the aptly named and for no good reason whatsoever Dreadstone Peak. Such a pleasant place. There's a hot springs there. It's lovely.
Sure, we'll visit one day.
Everything that starts with dread is always important.
Yes,
It's always a nice place to be.
and it's gorgeous
It's a
this time.
vacation resort.
It's gorgeous this time of year,
vacation
darlings.
resort.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pride reveals himself to the group as not a bad guy. He is too proud to follow Emix. All of the sins are lieutenants of Emix. He used to be a lieutenant under the name of Vanifer, and then fell in love and said, "Fuck all this mess," and peaced out. And eventually, the curse of Lifeless just kind of took root, and she is now kind of giving sustenance to the Golden Fields. Pride is continuing his quest to try and find a way for her curse to be lifted without destroying what has become the most.
Hasn't she essentially become the life tree?
Yeah, basically. The Golden Fields are protected and everything like that because they are the most fertile grounds for normal life, basically. All sorts of fruit grows there. Animals can flourish there. There absolutely is not at all a portal to Feywild there. That may or may not have been the reason why the Tabaxi are here. That's not important. But
I left the Feywild for good reason. Don't even.
She's kind of the reason why they're that fertile, but also why she is a giant green beacon for everything shitty. So the group left there and installed a couple of extra Harper's units there to protect the Golden Fields. Hooray, a victory that is actually heroic. Oh shit, there was a sin leading a Harper's Guild unit.
Yeah. It was bad.
And then the group got transported to a different realm and went through the Tomb of Horrors. And then came back.
And it was horrifying.
And it was horrifying.
And I may or may not have just rammed through the wall. And avoided the almost entire dungeon.
Yeah.
It was, oh look, this wall's a little soft, ding, ding, ding. Flap, nat 20. Oh,
and the group...
He goes, re-roll that. Nat 20.
And the group was... I told everybody, whoever survives the Tomb of Horrors will get a reward in the actual game. One person survived the Tomb of Horrors, Raoul, by literally selling his soul to the devil.
Oh, shit.
That poor door.
Oh no, it was a wall.
No, I'm the door that wanted to be touched.
Yes. Touch the door. Touch the door. So magically, when you guys woke up the next day from this campaign, Raoul Amoth had a rod that was really cool.
It was the biggest rod.
I think it was the Rod of Control or something like that.
Yes.
So you guys made your way...
You had a morning rod?
Yes, the morning rod. You guys
hardest rod to break ever.
you guys made your way further into Womford, where you met the next Harper's Guild, led by Issereth, and a man who could try and remove sin. You heard tales of a man who could remove sin infestations named Grimmeth. That was a big. He's not a giant purple dude.
Not Grimace.
He, because at the time, Rowan got sin marked by greed. So it was really important now that you had two people who were sin marked to get these removed. You heard tale of a guy named Grimace, and in this installation of the Harper's Guild, you met number 473, a Warforged, and Kyrieth, a absolutely and totally alive Eladrin.
Yep.
She was absolutely alive.
Living, breathing. Picture of
yes.
health.
Yes. There was nothing at all weird about Kyrieth. At all.
Not at all.
And this is the point where the group were actually given Harper sigils.
Yes.
And Pride, because he was freaking out that he thought Lust was following Perururun. So in an act of selflessness, Pride put his sin mark over Lust's. He had never tried it before. Hey, what's the worst that can happen? So now Perururun has the sin mark of Pride on her right hand. Then,
right wrist.
Well, yes. And
Kinda.
Rowan had it on his eye. Because he ate the eye of somebody who was also sin marked and, well...
Because dumb fish man.
Dumb fish man.
Damn it, he was going to be dinner! Fish.
He left to go try and find said Grimace. And after they left Womford, ran into a barbarian tribe where Pietzkir decided to help them, who was also a lizard dude, who was absolutely not at all an edgelord, as I roll my eyes super loud. And shortly after those three joins, the group found a stone-cold blue rock in the shape of a moon. And as they all meditated, they got a vision of an Athalor that there was no way that they remembered. They were kind of given access to a world several thousand years pre-Cataclysm. And kind of a reason why the names of certain things are how they are. They were introduced to the reason why one is called Colosvane, one continent is Colosvane and the other is Zuocelis. Why several of the towns are named how they are. These people made a massive impact, including being the father and mother of the Spirit Queen. Now, again, it's not really information that you guys know, because this is most pre-Cataclysm knowledge is very, very few and far between, and mostly hoarded to academia. Bits and pieces are found every so often, like the group found. The stone, after they were witnessed all of these, turned from green to blue, after absorbing a lot of energy from this. The group, at that point, each kind of got their own feeling of where to go. Pietzkir felt in his very soul that he needed to go over across the sea to Zuocelis. Kyrieth and 473 felt very very like their pool was to go to Amarith to try and find more about their feeling was to go to the Tolvan Academy of Magic. And Perururun, her feeling was to go to the north. For whatever reason, the stone hated her enough that as winter is closing in, winter was coming very quickly, that she felt that she needed to go to Media. Pride also kind of felt that he would be able to discover something there. So the group traveled by train, by foot, as much as they possibly could, to the city where... Not Media. I can read my own written, my own typed notes, you guys. I'm good at this! To Miosha, where the story is.
That's right.
They've been in town for a couple of weeks. Couldn't go further north to Twill because this time of year is when the blizzards set in.
It's a little
And that's going to sound great on that microphone that picks up all dice sounds, by the way.
So close.
One, two left. I'm sorry.
So we, at this point now, that is where we are caught up.
Yes.
And now I'm going to have these guys introduce their characters. Rachel. Never mind.
I'm good.
Alright. Since you are the returning character, remind people what Perururun looks like.
Perururun, I believe... I'm trying to remember how tall she was. I get her confused. She was my teeny tiny.
Yeah, she was petite. Yeah, because
she's like 5'4".
Most Tabaxi do not get super tall because
she is like super skinny, super pretty. She is. Think Marie from the Aristocats. She is this pristine, well-groomed white cat. Serious pretty kitty problems.
Yes.
She left the Feywild because I'm sick and tired of having other Tabaxi hitting on her and doing things for her and playing the whole she can't do it herself, and she's like, you, I can, go away. So she left. When she was there, she was an orphan. There was a whole lot of drama that occurred while she was in a situation that she doesn't really speak about. A little bit of it came out during one of our episodes, in the end of the first season.
No, Perururun was all second season. You were
That's right, Mazoga.
No, you were Doriana.
Airhead.
Deadpool.
Yes, Doriana Poole.
Yes, Doriana Poole, who could absolutely see the fourth wall.
And she did. She was great.
That's fine.
But she had to die because she was way too much like my character. Dumb as a stump and strong as an ox.
Rachel decided at this point in time that she really wanted to play stupid strong characters and rolled like 3 of them. So got tired of playing them.
Yes. So, I digress. She's got some serious pretty kitty problems. She's, I am strong female. I don't need no goddamn male. And then she sees Pride and it's like, oh,
I need it!
like I said before, that the ass in the air floating through, just drool coming out both sides, big bulged out eyes, like the cat call from The Mask with Jim Carrey, that whole thing. Yeah. She is so stupidly
the Animaniacs. Hello, nurse!
Yeah. Hello, tall, hairy, and handsome. With muscles and a big tail. And a big tail. So, she's evolving.
Remember, Rachel, microphone's there. It's good, it's not that good.
No, I've got my eyeball itching again. And a baby.
And a baby.
Trying to kill him.
Baby.
Are you
That was
Yes.
good.
And a baby.
And she wears the Pride gave her a made her, because Pride's actually very good with everything.
Yeah.
And he made her a gauntlet to wear the moonstone over her sin mark.
At this point.
So, and since then, he can't even feel her sin mark. So, he's fairly sure that this is blocking whatever energy is marking her.
Yes. At least that is the hope at present.
Yes. Alright, so now, other lady first.
No.
Yes!
Yay.
Make the choice!
Hi.
Well, the upside is, Kyra, I can promise you there's no goddess of choice in this game. So tell us a little bit about your character. Remember that only reveal what anybody is going to know of her. Cough, 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 cough.
So Dwyn appears, I'll use that word, as a white dragonborn.
She is a white dragonborn.
She is a white dragonborn. she is. White dragonborn, but her scales kind of give off like an iridescent blue, purple, and pink because pretty. Although currently she isn't, because she's been hanging out in the mines, trying to figure out what is in the mines, and because also pretty is in the mines. And so she's probably a little coal everywhere. Her tattered clothes, because she normally spends all of her time in the woods, and woods never stay long, or clothes never stay long in the woods.
Woods never stay long in the clothes.
Yeah. No. Wears pants, because you don't stay in the woods with dresses and skirts. And so she is a happy-go-lucky dragonborn who's excited to be out of her home forest.
And I'm so glad that she has a happy, and actually legitimately a happy relationship with her family.
Yeah, she has a happy family.
That makes me happy that she actually has a very good relationship with
Everybody's
her family.
alive.
Yeah,
Everyone's staying alive.
Delbert! Tell us a bit about your character.
I am Twang.
Twang, 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 twang.
I'm a Kenku. I look a little bit like an owl. It's kind of funny because I only wear a breastplate for armor, and my feathers kind of poof out a little bit.
He has a muffin top of feathers, and it's the best. I can see him kind of, even though it's not an owl, I kind of see him like looking like one of the emperor penguins, like not the emperor penguins, the ones with like the really flourishy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that
Robin Williams played in Happy Feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just obviously as an owl, like with the owl beak and stuff like that, and just like poofs out. Like whenever there's a hole in the breastplate, there's like white feathers.
That's awesome.
It's really hard to button it up every morning because lots and lots of feathers.
Yeah.
He has fingers. Kenku
Oh,
have fingers.
that's right.
Yeah, Eric Hakuro don't have fingers. They're the ones who can also fly. Kenku can't fly. They're not at all angry about that.
So you're a non-flying bird, they tell me.
Not at all.
How's your run speed, friend? Hey, Perururun has needs. And that fucking fish decided to eat poison, cursed creature goo.
Yeah, as soon as you said that earlier, I'm like, oh, that's why you wanted me to play a fucking bird.
Well, I know you were making accents, and that's the reason I'm like, hey, what's a character that can make a lot of accents? Because I know it's something that you like to do. So I'm like, hey, Kenku, that's literally their thing. So...
But then the other foot dropped with the, oh yeah, by the way, Perururun wants to eat.
I completely...
Yeah.
Well, at the time I wasn't aware that she was going to be playing Perururun. Her playing Perururun is actually pretty recent. Like, she was going to play another character. But her playing Perururun was
And
relatively
so I was going to
recent.
steal kind of the idea of another person that may or may not be at the table because I think it's fucking amazing. But I'm not going to release that information because that might have to come out later if Perururun dies. Or at the home game, I haven't decided.
And yeah, I mean, I'm a smuggler, so I'm out in the wild all the time.
Oh, so you smuggle things.
I got some connections here and there.
I like getting to steal shit.
I can see, like, he just happened to be around Myosha when the blizzard set in, like, oh, this is where I am now.
Picking something up,
Yeah.
to take back.
Can't get back north because the trains aren't running right now, so... Because Twill is like super north. Like Twill is the furthest north that you could be that is a discovered area, and it kind of sucks there. Not gonna lie.
Good old mining towns.
Good old mining towns in super high north areas in the mountains.
Blizzard.
In the blizzard.
Does
Yeah, a bunch of hardy people there.
Does Blizzard count as difficult terrain?
Yes.
Yes. my allies and I are not slowed by difficult terrain.
Spot the ranger. All right, and Scott, tell us about your character.
I'm playing Balric, Firbolg Death Cleric. He's 7'2", 250-pound, well-built Firbolg, who's been exiled from his clan for developing death domain powers.
Oh, why would they do that?
Because Firbolgs are peaceful people, and they're like, God, no,
Peaceful
why?
and nature-related.
Yeah, why? You literally kill everything you touch.
A few deaths, it's okay. You know, don't relax
So
too tight.
he's
but
taken
it's
to
how his manifests.
I'm sure.
He's 35 years old as of the start of the campaign, but was exiled around 28. Has spent the past few years just wandering the wilds, exploring and learning the lays of the land, and has been recently pulled north. And since winter has set in, he's starting to come into this town.
Winter's coming.
Yeah,
Winter. I mean,
Did you
it sounds
bring
like,
it with you?
I mean, it sounds like winter already arrived.
Yeah.
Winter has arrived. And it's
Just walked in.
Miserable. And so a little bit about the world. I mentioned trains. Think like Wild West kind of technology. Electricity.
Will Smith Wild West, that is. Yes.
Mostly,
Sorry.
yeah. Mostly, yeah. It is more steampunk because it's my kind of my campaign.
Yes.
There was a half man, half automaton spider in the last campaign. Yes.
It's the first door on the right.
So
Second door on the right.
it was
First door on the right is a closet.
If you open the door, it's a closet. Don't pee in it, please. It was. Yeah, so the world is kind of Wild West kind of feeling. There's firearms, trains, electricity exists. It's not super wide. Most middle-income families would have basic electricity. Most establishments have heaters. A lot of it is fueled through magic. You'll find, for the lack of a better term, like heating crystals. And if you say the L word for fairy tale, I'm going to hit you.
I haven't watched it in a long time, so
Yes! So you have like heating crystals that they can use to set fires.
Now it's going to bother you.
Lacrima.
Oh.
So like they're most electricity is fueled through like lightning crystals. Also, it's not I kind of adapted the idea of combination of Lacrima from Fairy Tale, and thanks, Delbert, for walking in front of the camera. Appreciate it. From Lacrima from Fairy Tale and Stormstones, I think they were called, from Stormlight Archives. Brandon Sanderson novels. They're very good. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and the train got in that Pride and Perururun were on a couple of weeks ago, and the train's like, I'm not going any further north, because no.
Yeah.
Blizzard's setting in.
Snow on the train.
Yeah, I'm good. This is as far as we're going to go. I'm going to go back south, because I'm not crazy. Bye. And that is where we're going to end our session 0. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you all for coming and joining at the table. I really appreciate it. This is going to be... I have a really good feeling about this season. It's going to be really good. I have a really good feeling about it. I will try not to kill you all mercilessly.
It's okay, I've got a backup character already.
Yeah.
Hashtag make your backup
3 or
characters.
4. That'd be cool, and this is cool, and that's cool.
Alright,
See if I
guys.
can keep them from killing themselves.
So this episode that we're talking about right here is going to be airing soon, as in when we're recording it. So happy October-ish, September-ish up to October-ish. We'll see you guys, home viewers, in January for episode 1 of Athalor Season 3. We love you. We'll see you later. Bye.
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 You have been listening to a Geek.io Media Network LLC production. Would you like to convert that to pounds? Copyright 2019.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.